Oh, hello, Maksud, Danny Ashwin, how are you? Flipping X, second week in the row, and I've been late to my own Wednesday Waffle, but thankfully not as late as I was last night. It has been an intensely busy week, and today was just another one of those busy days. So for those of you that are new to the Wednesday Waffle, the reason, now then, Danny, the purpose of this, I assume a lot of you have probably seen my video today, but the purpose of these Wednesday Waffles is a business update of what I've been doing, building this genuine, fully British made military, country and equestrian fashion brand. It has been a hell of a busy week, and it's been a hell of a busy day. And I suppose the biggest news of the week came from badminton, but let's just go backwards a step. So my last Wednesday Waffle I missed, and then did it on the Thursday when I spoke about going to the grassroots championships at Badminton Horse Trials. Sorry, I'm wearing my hat inside, and it is bloody awful to do. Just wearing one of my Sherpa fleece gilets here. But yeah, so we spoke about that on last week's Wednesday Waffle, everything at Badminton Grassroots Championships. So that is live on the YouTube channel. Just searching Lockwood Smocks, and you'll be able to find that to rewatch. So yeah, and then in my professional life or military professional life, we've very much been getting geared up for the. Thank you very much. Getting geared up for the King's birthday parade. So there's been lots of preparations in relation to that. And then Friday, so some of you that have been here before will have seen my cat Tom that I rescued from Cyprus. I am Coldstream Guards, mate, from Cyprus. And I said to the lady, look, I'm starting this business. I very much want to support charities, British-based charities, but where I can help you, I will help you. And I was first called upon her a couple of weeks ago to assist with a cat rescue on Friday night at Heathrow Airport. And the reason that was, there was an old lady, lives alone, husband's died, no family. She was rescuing a cat, was very nervous about the whole thing. I hate to say this, but when I met her, it was fairly obvious that she's suffering with probably some quite severe learning difficulties. But yeah, she didn't have the funds to be able to, as well as rescuing the cat, just organise transport at that time of the night. So I collected the cat from Heathrow Airport and then took it to Reading. And that cat was meant to arrive at 9:30 at night. Sort of 3.5 hours after that, we were still outside Heathrow Airport at the pet air terminal. But anyway, we got the cat to her, and then by the time we'd got back, it was like, we might as well just set straight off to badminton. So we did. And we went to the Badminton International Horse Trials over the weekend. So I went there to watch an international, 5-star international rider called Gaspard Maksud, who is a French gentleman who represented the brand for me on the top stage of international eventing. The 5 stars, the big ones, badminton, Burley, in the UK. You then got a few more around the world, but they are, they're the notorious ones. Yes, I am still in the division, mate. I'm currently serving Coldstream Guards anti-tank platoon. So that was incredible. I'm just gonna take this off. Oh my lord, look at that. A Union Jack on a piece of clothing that is genuinely made in this country. A couple of miles up the road in Birmingham. Yeah, and then it was very much market research time. So I was, getting in all the shops, looking at who is using, what sort of wording, anything with a Union Jack or bloody British heritage, British inspired. I was in there looking at it, and I was. I mean, I suppose I knew what to expect, but I was quite shocked by the just the blatant deception that was being put out by a lot of companies. Yeah, pretending to be, British manufactured. Side note. The massive news that I've got, I'll get to it in the story, by the way, and it is pretty bloody life-changing for me, to be honest. But anyway, and then I've got round some other companies, spoke to some smaller brands, not necessarily just clothing brands, but lots of different brands, chatting to business owners when it was a bit quieter and they were able to talk. So that was really good. I met a guy whose handle is Geordie Inch, but Leon is called anyway. And met up with him, and he was wearing one of the gilets. It was just, it's hard to describe the emotions when you've worked as hard as I have for so long, and seemingly, I can see the results, but on the the data on the website, the flipping traction I'm getting on social media, I can see it, but to physically see it in person was pretty incredible. A number of times people approached me and Ruth to say that they were following me online, love what I'm doing. Oh, Lilies, I've got your present here. My niece made me. I dropped in there today and I got made to make this, although she did say she was going to make it for me, and then I got made to make this for Ruth, so for Auntie Ruth, as she said. Yeah, and then the Sunday came. I was a bit disheartened on the Wednesday, to be totally honest. This is last Wednesday now, because I'd got hold of a lot of the commentators, and they'd sort of says they were going to try to get it announced on the recording, on the live stream, but they didn't. And then on the Saturday, I think it was, I got hold of the guy that was actually going to be commentating, and he sort of explained to me that they can't announce clothing brands that aren't sponsors of the event. However, because he was an ex-soldier, I'm a soldier, he said soldiers should stick together. So he did announce it on the commentary, which was incredible. I was so excited I could have I don't know. I don't know what I could have done, but I was overcome with emotion. I was so bloody happy, to see my product on that trot-up, getting it announced that it's my bloody brand. It was flipping incredible. One of probably the happiest day of the company so far for me. That whole week I had a rider at the 5-star. I helped out an old dot in Reading, and then I saw my products being seen and spoken about in front of thousands of people. Seeing one of my products out there in the real world, people coming up to us and saying that they'd seen my brand on Instagram. For people to physically come up to me and just say, you are doing an incredible thing, and just keep doing it. I was bloody proud. So that has been, a whirlwind week. And I think slightly going back on the Wednesday, I will be totally honest. I was driving home, and I was overcome with a feeling that I just needed everything to stop. The pressure, everything, the long days, the flipping 4 o'clock alarms, the not getting back till, tonight, 8:10. It was just getting too much. And I had to seriously have a bloody metaphorical slap round my own face and just say, get a fucking grip of yourself, man. But that has basically led to the decision that I am leaving the army. I spoke to my platoon commander basically on Monday and said, look, I need to get out. Cheers, Sam. I need to get out and I want to start the process. They sort of said, look, is there any jobs that could get us to keep you to stay? But I just think if I want to keep, I was just talking about it today, something as simple as a button, a button on a shirt. We look at any clothing product and just, do you even ever think about what thought goes into a bloody button? On this, it's just a plain button, I suppose. Yeah. But, that took up a couple of weeks of back and forth with a factory in Gloucestershire, talking about bloody buttons. And it's even something so simple as a fucking button took up so much time for it to be exactly how I wanted it. The shade of the colour, the lettering, the type of lettering, the width and the thickness of the bloody button, the shape and the design, to get something that most people will not even bloody notice. But I cannot keep putting that much attention into something like this when the product line is going to grow. But I can't give that amount of attention to detail while I'm still in the army without, driving myself to a place where I, some days, I'm not my bloody self because I'm just so flipping exhausted. So for them reasons, I'm leaving the army. And I feel like I've been stood walking up to the edge of that cliff and walking away and walking up to it and walking away and then walking up to it, looking down into the black abyss and thinking, just bloody jump and just see what it's like. So yeah, I'm there basically. I was meant to have my a hard facts interview today with my company commander, which is where they sort of question you about everything, where you're going to live, what is your, how are you going to survive, who depends on you, the realities of living out on the on Civvy Street. And I sort of had a rough hard facts interview with my platoon commander on Monday, and he he basically says, well, look, I don't think we've actually really got anything to worry about with you. I've got multiple options. It might be that I need to move home with mum, but the only thing holding that back is our little cat Tom, because Peggy, the ruthless farm dog, will eat him alive, quite literally. So yeah. But a lot of stuff to work out. My house back home is on the market to help fund this, and just get me going. Me and Ruth are planning a wedding, so yeah, why not add more to the plate? Just make the plate bigger. I just can't have the army on my plate anymore, because it's yeah. But no, and then moving forward from making that decision, and I don't think I realised just how much that was weighing on my mind, because I've felt just such a sense of relief since deciding it, but equally like a new type of pressure, but a good pressure, pressure that I'm flipping really loving the feel of, to be honest. So yeah. And then this week, yesterday, I saw a post come up for a fashion show called Made in Leicester. Come up on my social media. A friend slash temporary mentor slash fashion expert guy sort of sent it across, and I just jumped at the opportunity. Messaged my boss was there and says, look, can I go to this tomorrow? We had a quick discussion, and then it sort of came to an agreement. I had to come in this morning, first thing for to be ready to ride out at 6:30, and then, or was it 6:45? Either way, anyway, the guy was late regardless, so it didn't really matter that I needed to be in early because he didn't rock up on time. But yeah, so went for a walk around Hyde Park. He is actually a titan of business in his own regard anyway, so it was good talking over things with him, and then was straight on the road up to Leicester to his, to his fashion show. And as I was walking in, there was just a load of models walking out in like catwalk gear, probably going for a break. And then as I got in, there was discussion panels, things like that going on, and a lot of it is geared towards sustainability and how does British manufacturing make itself relevant in a world of fast fashion, and where the big companies in my space and the high street space can just print tens of thousands of units like that, and if they only sell 30% of the stock, it doesn't matter because it's that made so cheap. 20% of the stock sold, they're into profits from then, and the rest of it can just get thrown away or whatever. And it's how do we compete with that? So they are always really interesting discussions. There was a lot of them at Source Fashion UK a couple of months ago. And I think going into the world I'm into, I need to immerse myself into that world, whether it's relevant to the type of fashion I'm selling or not. I really do. And then, I've really been trying to think of ways to put, it sounds quite bad to put a bit of pressure on Ruth in terms of this business. And I've wanted to, grow my female following and relevance to the brand, so it doesn't seem like such just a bloke's brand, but I hate using that word, but an inclusive brand, because it just sounds a bit too PC saying inclusive when it's like it's just for everyone, male and female, unisex brand that can dominate the country equestrian spheres. So I found a really good knitwear, and I'm very aware that Leicester is one of the clothing manufacturing hubs of the country, and I'm not there yet. So I want to be present there. So I found there was quite a few knitwear and other factories, stretchwear factories, but I found a really nice looking around. Found a factory that makes knitted garments basically. So the plan will be to have a small, just two styles of nice woolly jumpers for around Christmas time, at a price that can be competitive enough that it doesn't price everyone out of the market. 80, 90 quid for a bloody jumper. It's just a woolly jumper is ridiculous. So I think I've found a factory that are willing to work with me on the MOQs, like a lot of them have been having to do, to help me get into the market space, to get some nice jumpers. So it's like a sort of stripy turtleneck, slight design, and then a bit of like a nice patterny woven woolly jumper thing that we're going to be doing. And then Ruth's task in this is to look around, see what is out there. We're then going to go up, select some types of wool and knit and patterns and colours, and then that's going to be her little collection for around Christmas time to bring to you all. So she may end up having to sit here at some point and tell you all about that. And then I also met, so when you do taped seams, the problem with it is that it doesn't last years upon years upon years like I need my stuff to. That's what this company was saying anyway. And they do a type of seam sealing where it almost, if you have your outer fabric, your inner fabric, and then at the stitches, the seams are sealed. Taped, and then heat sealed, and then that's how the, this part and this part's fully waterproof, but then there's obviously small gaps here where the fabric is folded onto each other and then stitched together and fold back. So it's then sealed down there, so it's 100% sealed. Now, what this company has is an extra film, and then it goes between the two fabrics, which are then stitched together or whatever, and then that goes in between the whole garment, and then there's like a heat sealing process. It's like a glue that is then pressed and sealed or whatever. And then he told me all the science behind it, etc., etc., etc. So he was quite interesting. So we may, be going from taped seams to on the September jackets to this mad bloody new technology, which he says it's an emerging technology, so I need to dig into it more and find out about it really. But yeah, so that was a really interesting gig. And then after that I went and stopped to see my brother. I was told that by my niece that she was going to make me one of these for Ruth, and then she basically wandered off and started playing kitchen in the garden and put a baby in the fridge, and then made me a coffee, which, to the untrained eye, that was a coffee, but for me, I was easily able to identify it as just water with what seemed like washing up liquid in it. So I didn't drink it, I threw it on the floor, which upset her actually. But I ain't drinking soapy water. And then from there, drove sort of about 20-30 minutes up the road to see one of my sponsored riders. I've met her once in person before, but she's someone that has been sort of cheerleading me on right from the beginning. I met her at when I went out with a friend, watching him coach Callum Banfield. She's just been cheerleading me on the whole time. And then when I decided to do me sponsored riders, she was someone that came into my head quite early on. And then we spoke probably a couple of weeks ago about her maybe coming on board. And then a horse is off at the moment with a slight injury, like a lot of them tend to get. And it's just the right thing to give them a good bit of time off because they don't speak human. So they can't tell us. So it's, the whole thing of being a true horseman is looking after your horses. So hers is off. But regardless, I went to meet her and give her a little sponsorship pack that I give to all of the riders, and then just sort of had that face-to-face conversation of, look, I want nothing from you other than for you to just, keep doing what you're doing and fly the flag of the Lockwood brand. It's not a pushy sales pitch from any of them. It should just be that they're proud to wear my name and my logo as they're out competing, knowing that they stand for something right and something that's correct in this world of fashion that I'm getting into. And then, sort of give her the sort of vision for the brand of, really doubling down on supporting Ebony Horse Club, doubling down on our grassroots riders, and then, as I spoke about on my Wednesday Waffle, after my chat with a lass called Lydia Haywood, the future of backing her organisation, Cool Ridings, with the hope to one day set up a facility which I can, A, run my own horse from, but B, give a place that, riders that may not necessarily have massive funds but have just raw talent, where we can harness that and bring, worthwhile talent that may well have been missed or overlooked, a place where they can absolutely flourish. Maybe a bit of a setup that can really disrupt the eventing world as we know it. Not the old here to take part sort of thing, but here to take over. So yeah, that's my week in a bit of a nutshell, to be honest. A bit of a nutshell. Yeah, so I'm just going to go back through the comments on both Instagram and TikTok, and then answer any questions or anything that's come through since we've been going. So if there's anything that's just sticking out in your mind, by the time I get back to the bottom, hopefully I'll be able to answer it. So on TikTok here, are you still in the division? You're not in bridge anymore. Yes, I am temporarily back at Knightsbridge, but I'm not posted there. So yeah, Daniel Rickards, only just found this page and I'm impressed. Thank you so much, mate. Yeah, it means a lot to see comments like that, because clearly I'm the only person out there doing something like this, which is bloody important, I think. All right, mate. Got what goes here? Nice for cousins. Yeah, boom. One company, Boise. What we got in? Cheers, Leanne. Keep grinding, brother. Proud of you. Thank you so much. Brother Sam. Like I said, there were some messages. Number 1 gifter badge. Great decision. Time to focus on you and your dreams and desires. Yeah, thank you. And I think it is, if it goes to pot, I just have to, go back with me bloody tail between my legs, haven't I? You effing legend, never in doubt, you'll absolutely smash it. Cheers, Josh, mate. I appreciate that. You can turn it off, actually.
Yeah.
I'm just doing question time. Yeah.